Class of the Dragonlords, Chapter 18 by Fluttershy 20. This is it. Today was the day Fluttershy had been preparing herself for the past few days. Soon, she will face Heimdall in battle. She wasn't doing this alone, and that gave her some small comfort, knowing her friends would be beside her when the time came. She waited for her friends to get ready. She sat on her haunches and looked at the picture of her mother and father. She smiled at them as they smiled at her with proud, loving eyes. Their faces made her wonder whether they would still be proud of her. Whether or not her mother would approve of her new life, or whether she would be angry and fiery for deceiving her on something so major, like being a member of the Order of Warriors. She wondered that if her father was still alive, or could talk to her for only a moment, what advice, if any, he would give to her. But she had to make do with her own advice, the advice that he had given her a short time she knew him and her friends. She brought the medallion up to her face and kissed the heads of her mother and father in the picture. "I won't let you down, Buffy," she whispered to the picture. She closed it again and put it around her neck, while hearing her friends quieting down. She lifted her head out to see them looking at her with determined yet scared eyes. First, I looked back at her the same way. She was terrified about what was to happen. Every nerve, every instinct she had lived with for the 20 years of her life, screaming louder than ever to run. She kept a hold on him and willed herself to move forward. "Not my child. True bravery." She heard her father's voice whisper in her mind. "Are we ready?" The 5 ponies shook their heads. "Twilight, Fluttershy, I just realized we had a small problem," Twilight said. "Actually, it's a pretty big one," Rainbow corrected her. Fluttershy cocked her head to the side. "What is it?" "Well, which way do we go?" Twilight asked, throwing her forelegs wide as he was about to give her a hug. "We know where to go, but we don't know how to get there." Fluttershy's eyes widened as he realized Twilight was right. She went to the ground first, wondering how they were going to get there without Darrow's guidance. She briefly considered calling for Vidar, knowing he wouldn't be far away. But he wasn't a taxi service. You're right, he's not a taxi service. He is called Fast Travel. She didn't want to be waiting outside Heindar's prison forever. Head shot once again, towards the sound of war with Polonian army encamped out, and were recommencing their attack on the fortress. She wished it hadn't come to this, but now she had no other choice. And as much as she despised the expression, it would be killing two birds with one stone. "I'm so sorry, Freya," she thought. She turned her back to face the others. "Stay here. I won't be long." She turned around and galloped to the bushes towards the Polonian camp. All the while her friends were calling to her to come back. Freya pulled the flap of her tent open and walked in. Exasperated sigh collapsed on a large pile of straw in the left corner of her tent. The tent was the color of blood, with golden stripes in the roof. Half of the area rested on a small wooden table in the far right corner. It was too small for the whole thing, so most of it rested on muddy ground. Freya, however, didn't care. This was the last held fortification in the Andalusians' control. When it falls, the war would finally be over. The cost, however, was terrible. The battle alone, it was reported that losses were over 1,000. Maybe even 2,000 lay dead out there, or in mass graves behind the baggage trains. But the fortress will eventually fall. They all knew that. It was only a matter of time. The offensive against the south had been going quite well for the most part. They received a massive boost in morale and numbers when one of the illusion generals came to Castilian with a peace banner, proclaiming his allegiance to her and his army of thousands. An hour later, she would give the order to move out, and another general came when 1,000 was freed. Although wary of them, she accepted them as one of her own, and refused for them to be a part of the final war council, in case they suddenly turned. With the increase of troops, Freya and Luthor agreed to split up the army in two. One under Freya would head to the west and take the cities of Brayton and Friesa, while Luthor would head east and for Andalusia and Hackney. For Freya, taking Brighton was a walk in the park. They thus opened the gates and surrendered themselves to her forces. Friesa was harder, and a few Housecarls were lost in the fighting, as well as many freed. The city fell after 2 days of resistance. After leaving a small garrison of troops, she moved on to Ramshead Range. Similar Friesa from high-ranking captain Tiberius Valenta had held herself up in the Fort Ironhoof fortress, and decided to move quickly to take her before she escaped to raise an army someplace else. She moved her forces deep into Hansen's raids, destroying all bridges and dams they came to by to make crossing harder for those attempting to escape them or outflank them. After many battles and skirmishes that were short but brutal, they soon surrounded Ironhoof Fortress, and in Freya's haste began the attack in earnest, hoping for a quick victory. She sighed sadly as she realized the Rat Saxons got so many horses killed. The first day was a disaster. Not a single horse made it to the walls, and all siege towers were destroyed and burned. On the second day they fared better. A hole in the wall was made and allowed her army to get inside, but was zealously defended by the illusions, who had forced her to retreat. The third day they managed to get inside and hold the first section of the fortress. By the time the sun fell, they managed to hold the outer and middle sections. Now it was the fourth day, and what Freya hoped to be the last. Her ears twisted to the sound of a voice outside. Turned her head around to see the newcomer. The young creamy stallion entered, sweat pouring from his face after having galloped hard. A large bag hung on his right side. He bowed his head. "Lady, a message from Luthor." Freya's heart beat a little faster at the mention of her second in command. She had not heard from him since they had left Castilian many days ago. She got up and took the letter from his bag with her teeth. "Thank you, young sir. Go and rest in one of the tents. And please help yourself to some food." The young horse bowed his head once more. "Lady," he said, then spun around, cantered to where the food was being prepared. She set herself back onto her stomach and opened up the lair. As she scanned the lair, her eyes widened in delight. Luthor had taken Andalusia easily. There was no one there to fight him there in the first place. Her eyes widened as he explained the horror of what he found there. After burying all the dead, he moved in towards Hackney. Didn't make it very far when his horses made it into a random number of Andalusians heading east in the hope to attack Freya's forces from behind. The battle was large and savage, and he lost a good number of his regiments, but he emerged victorious. After taking a moment to lick their wounds, they moved and seized Hackney after a brutal fight that ended with the destruction of Hackney. The city was burned to the ground under the jaws of yours, so it wouldn't fall into the wrong hooves. Freya chuckled at that. A city was made of wood and stone, and could be easily rebuilt. A horse, however, could not. She looked back at the letter, saw where Luthor was planning to go next. He was coming to Ironhoof Fortress to reinforce her, and would arrive in days. She sighed happily as he rested her head on the ground. Despite the numerous casualties and the horrific battles that would plague her dreams for the rest of her life, it was coming to an end. The war was nearly over. Freya had won. "I wish Thrall was here to see it though," she whispered to herself. She suddenly noticed a shadow something behind the tent. She took her sword from the desk and pointed towards the shadow. "Who are you?" she asked the shadow. "Show yourself." "Freya?" The high angelic voice of an old friend made Freya's heart skip a beat. She put the sword down and pulled the tent side up. She gasped for joy when she saw the yellow Pegasus on the other side. "Fluttershy, is that really you?" A little wide, false-skinned Fluttershy nodded. The Pegasus opened her mouth to speak. Before she could, she was gripped in a tight hug from Freya. Horse pulled Fluttershy back inside the tent and away from prying eyes. "I can't believe it!" she cried in joy, spinning around. "Oh, I missed you, Fluttershy." Fluttershy gripped her tighter, even as she was straining what was to come. "I missed you too, Freya." Freya's joyful expression faded when she heard the tone of her friend's voice. She looked up at Fluttershy and looked her in the eye. "You don't sound like it, though." Fluttershy's ears folded across her head as she looked to the ground. "What's wrong?" Freya asked. Fluttershy didn't want to do this. She didn't want to be the one to do this. But she had to. It'd be cruel to keep Freya in the dark forever. She took a deep breath and looked back at her with sad eyes. "I've got something to tell you." "What is it?" Freya asked, her tone expressing fear and concern. Fluttershy took a deep breath and said, "It's about Thralla." Freya thought her heart had stopped. She didn't want to be told any more. She knew what Fluttershy was going to say the moment she said his name. Fluttershy saw this in her eyes and moved forward with his message. "He said he loved you, and told me to tell you that he died well," Fluttershy said softly. She put a hoof on Freya's cheek. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Freya suddenly burst into tears. Fluttershy wrapped her forelegs around her and held her tight, rubbing her back in circles as she comforted the old horse. Fluttershy felt her own eyes begin to moisten, but refused to let them spill. After a long time, Freya's tears stopped flowing, and her breathing relaxed a little. She pulled away from Fluttershy and blinked several times to clean her eyes. Where did he die? In Red Sand Mountain, Fluttershy replied, her tone solemn. We were attacked by a horde of Dragon inside while trying to find this object. We all fought and managed to fight our way out to escape, but those wounds were too great. He didn't survive. I'm sorry, Freya. If I could have done something to save him, I would have, but I couldn't. Freya sighed. I'm not going to blame you. Did Zola ever tell you that he wanted to die? Fluttershy nodded. Did he tell you why? Fluttershy again nodded. I know I shouldn't cry for him. He was a slayer, and when he took the mark, he was dead to begin with. Slayer or not, he was still your cousin, Freya, Fluttershy said, placing a hoof on her cheek. You have every reason not to weep for him. Suddenly, the tent entrance flapped open, and a horse with chainmail armor rode in. Milady, we just taken in 5 prisoners coming towards the camp. They appear to be equestrians in my eyes. Freya looked at the horse honestly, then back at Fluttershy, whose eyes widened in alarm. Do you know them? Fluttershy nodded meekly, then lifted her head to face the horse. Did you hurt them? She asked, trying to sound calm, but it came as a threatening growl. The horse looked nervous upon meeting Fluttershy's gaze. Quickly shook his head. No, miss. We just found him and left him out there. He indicated with a hoof outside his tent. His eyes widened when he realized he was talking to you. Hold on. You're an equestrian. How did you get inside this tent? Fluttershy ignored the question. Quickly got up and passed the soldier and into the open. In front of the tent were 5 friends. Their legs and rainbow wings tied together with rope. Weapons and saddlebags had been removed. You better untie me now, or I swear I'll... Rainbow threatened them. She saw when she saw Fluttershy emerge from the tent. She looked at him with a mix of relief and annoyance. What are you doing all here? I thought I told you to stay at the clearing. 5 pointy ears fell flat against their heads. We're sorry, Fluttershy, but we wanted to make sure you were safe, Applejack said. Freya emerged from the tent a second later, having taken a moment to wipe their eyes and compose herself. She looked at each of the 5 ponies, then back to Fluttershy. Who are these ponies? Fluttershy began introducing them with a hoof pointing at each. These are my friends from Ponyville. Polly Sparkle, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, and Applejack. Freya looked at her with surprised eyes, then turned to smile warmly at them, her eyes moving from pony to pony. Soldier, release them from their bonds. I don't think they are necessity or polite. The soldier bowed his head, proceeding to cut the bodies of their wings and legs. Yeah, you do that! Rainbow growled, grinning at him as he cut away the ropes from her wings. I had to say, from what I heard from Fluttershy, I thought you'd all be a bit older with what you've done and all, Freya said with a chuckle. I am Freya Palermo, Queen of Horska. It was a pleasure to meet you, and a surprise I might add. The 5 ponies lowered their heads to bow, but Freya stopped them with a shake of her hoof. That will not be necessary here, equestrians. Friends of Fluttershy are friends of mine. She turned to the other horse that was standing guard over them. She was a black horse with a white mark running across her nostrils. I would like a team of horses to head to in the brown red sand mountains to find and retrieve my cousin's body, she said, trying to keep a strong face, but her lips were trembling all the while. Fluttershy flew into the air and patted her shoulder in comfort. The horse bowed on her head. I will get on it straight away, my lady. She made her way to the gallop of the camp when Fluttershy stopped her. There's a large boulder in front of the waiting entrance, she informed the mayor, on the northern side of the mountain. You can't miss it. The horse nodded her thanks and spun around and galloped to the camp, leaving the Queen of Horska with the bearers of the Elven Safari. I apologize for any rough treatment you received when you were brought here, ponies, Freya said. As you can see, we're a bit of a rough situation. You're telling me? Rainbow muttered. She was about to go on, but a glare from Fluttershy told her to keep quiet from inside the fortress. But I can't help being curious as to why you are here, Freya added. Surely you must have heard the sounds of battle from miles away, and yet you came closer rather than further, like any sane equine would have done. Actually, Fluttershy spoke up. Two reasons actually. Was we came here to find you. Freya looked flattered. You came all this way to find me and tell me about Thrella? First I could argue. Freya gripped her in her tight hug. You didn't really have to do that. It would have been wrong to keep you in the dark for so long. I'm afraid that wasn't the only reason we came to see you, Barzai said, pulling away to look her in the eye. Please know I was against this from the start. I asked you so much already. I don't want to ask any more of you. But now I have no other choice. She looked towards the ground, unsure how Freya would act. Freya looked confused. What do you need? First I looked back up, linking her eyes with Freya's. Me and my friends need to get to the Horskin Sea. We don't know where to go. So I was wondering if you could point us in the right direction. Freya looked at Fluttershy motionlessly for a moment, then smiled. Follow me, she said, gesturing with her head. Give us a moment. We need to get our stuff together. Fluttershy said, darting to where her sword and saddlebag was, and attaching it to her, laying it back respectively. The others followed suit, instead about putting on their swords. Rima putting around her waist and a quiver of bolts, and placing their saddlebags at her backs. Once the array, they followed Freya away from the fortress and down the dirt road. They found old Ray yesterday beside the river and get used to the fortress. They followed around the road for 10 minutes. Every few minutes or so, passing a horse going towards the fortress, with a large bag on his or her back filled with supplies. Eventually, they arrived at what looked like a harbor. The 10 or so quays that lined the river were crudely built with trees that cut down the woods and fastened together a large rope that made the place a tripping hazard. Tied to some of the quays were a row of ships, four of them were large, long slips with a single sail in the center. A bow shaped like a ram's head, with beautiful paintings of krakens, sirens, and other sea monsters that dwell in the deep to adorn their hulls. Two were larger supply ships, stronger design, but slower. Each of the three sails, one at each end and one in the middle, two levels of a vast number of supplies they had to carry. And the last one was a miniature version of a longship, albeit without the decorations in the hull. If you were seven beings, it would be with a child of the long slip harbored there. This one's so cute, Farsight said, pointing to it. 5 points behind her rolled their eyes. Freya looked at her oddly. How can you think of a ship of war as cute? I think anything that's small is cute, Farsight explained. Anyway, why are we here? Freya ignored the question, or didn't hear it. Instead, turned her attention to the evolution-colored horse, had her back toward her, and was shouting the foulest language any horse could have heard. Admiral Horsa? The horse immediately stopped his ranting, spun around the spot. He heads low and his ears flat. Behind him, the horses were shouting a brief sigh of relief and quickly made for their escape. You was cutting like a sailor earlier. So, the Mr. Krabs voice, or do we just do a stereotypical, or do we go for Popeye? Ugh, my lady, forgive me for my fondness, he said. His voice was deep yet gruff. See, you need to do Mr. Krabs. Fine! Don't worry about it. I've lived long enough to hear every foul word in the Horskin language, but these ponies haven't. She pointed to the 6 ponies behind her, with horrified and confused what they just heard. What do those words mean? Dwight asked curiously. Especially don't ask. My apologies once more, my lady, Horsa said. Racy said once more. If your fish is about to slow arrival of supplies, I can explain. It isn't about that, thought Silly Freaky. I'd like to know if Carvey is being used at the moment. Freya pointed to the ship beside her. Oh, that little thing. That thing's useless now for what you want, Lady Freya. It's not for me. It's for them. She turned around and looked at 6 ponies behind her, who were taken aback by the gift. Well, they wouldn't get help themselves to it. Anything else, my lady? Freya shook her head. Horsa round his head, and turned around to give the horses he was shouting a further scolding. His face went red with anger when he saw where they were gone. Ooh, when I find those 5 fools, I'm gonna... He tried further down, shouting his threats. I can't take this, Freya, Firesight said, stepping forward. All he has is for directions, nothing else. You'll need to get into the Horskin Sea, Fluttershy, Freya said. To get there, you'll have to follow this river down the current, Past the fortress and keep going until you see a wall of mountains with an opening. Behind those mountains is a horse can see. However, I'm afraid if you leave now, it will take you until evening to get there. Fireside's ears flattened behind her, hearing that, but no other way of getting there quicker. Other than fight her, of course. But she didn't want to ask him any more she needed. Thank you, Freya, Twilight said from behind her. Come on, everybody, let's get this boat ready for sail. Twilight, Rainbow said, flying out to her side. What about the fact that we'll be going against the current? Surely this ship will be able to do it, especially with wind this strong. Rainbow had a point. The wind wasn't strong enough to be considered a gale, but it was going in the opposite direction they needed to go. Make this a bit more difficult. It got up here all right, Rainbow, Twilight said. I'm sure it'll be all right going a bit further. True, but this ship has had horses stronger than bulls coming here. It was like I said, we're light and little compared to them. I don't think we can row the ship all the way to the horse can see and back. We won't have to, Twilight said with a grin. Got it completely under control. Twilight turned back around, jumped onto the little boat, followed by Applejack, Pinky, and finally Rarity. I should let you know, the author put in a "the" in front of Pinky, so it totally looks like it's called The Pinky. First, I watched their friends jump on board. They looked back at Freya with concern. She didn't like the idea of leaving the now grieving mare here alone, but she had to bring Heimdall down first. Will you be okay? Freya lowered her eyes and shook her head. Do you have to go? The tone of Freya's voice made her sound like she was pleading for Fireside to stay. Fireside jumped up and wrapped her forelegs around the mare's neck. I wish I could say, but I don't. That we were going there for the weekend to relax and bathe in the sun. But I would be lying if I say that. And I hate lying. I have no other choice but to go. But why? Freya asked. What's so important there that you must get there? I wish I could say, Freya, Fireside replied, but it's complicated. Then maybe you could tell me later, Freya said with a little smile, when you return to Castilian. Fireside wished she could say she was looking forward to it. It was another part of her knowing that this would be a one-way trip. She let go of Freya and took a few steps back. Goodbye for now, Freya, she said, her eyes sad. Freya bowed her head. Goodbye for now, Fluttershy. With that, Fluttershy turned around, trotting onto the boat, her head held high, and trying to keep a positive, strong demeanor in her trot. But every inch forward felt like something had a rope around her neck. It was pulling her forward, tightening her throat, making her unable to breathe. She jumped onto the boat, and Applejack untied the rope, holding his ship to the quay. So, who's going to row first? Fluttershy asked. No one needs to row, Twilight replied to Grin. I've got this one. She spread her forelegs out and floated in front of herself, in front of her body towards the ground. She closed her eyes, concentrating on the come-to-life spell that she had trained hard to control for so long. Began to cast it for the magenta glow of her horn. The ship suddenly had a magenta hue around its hull, sail, and bridge. With a sudden lurch, the ship began to move forward, sailing as if it was going with the wind and current. Be careful, all of you, Freya said to them as they began to pick up speed. We will, Fireside called back. Thanks again. 6 ponies waved to the old mare, right back until they rounded the bend and out of sight. Just as the ship disappeared from view, a white horse with a black mane and black tail and gray scowled up to Freya, inches from her, head low, voice excited and quick. Lady Freya! Victory is yours! He beamed. The remaining Andalusian soldiers have surrendered, and the fortress is completely in opposition. Freya's eyes lit up in delight. It was truly the first good news she heard all day. And what of the Baroness? She asked. Is he still alive? The stallion ears flattened against his head. Freya didn't need it all anymore. How? At first, we thought it was these wounds that she had on her side and chest, the stallion said. But then we found an empty box of sleeping tablets. She must have taken a very heavy dose, my lady, for what happened to her. Freya nodded in understanding, until she realized what he had said at first. Wounds? She asked with a quizzical look. Sally nodded. Yeah, a large sash across her left side, and one across her chest. When I had a look at them, I realized that any weapon a horse could carry couldn't have caused them. The ones across her chest looked like a shark's been biting her. Have you asked the elusive soldiers whether or not one of them killed her? This be in our good books? Yes, the stallion answered with a nod. Although ask is a bit timid for the way we did it.
They all said they were out fighting in front, and no one was with the bandits throughout the afternoon and evening. Aside from General Castus, we found him dead with the pigs. I believe the wounds were caused not enough to be considered fatal.
Fear not. He has boiled the wounds, but other side is unconvinced. What's done is done. Supona smiled said, Matters not. Whatever was the cause of death does not change what has happened here. The war is finally over, young stallion.
Anything you need of me, Lady Freya? He asked.
First, find Admiral Horsa and tell him I need a ship to take me back to Castilian. I need to prepare for my cousin's funeral. Secondly, send a message to General Luthor to inform him of the war's end, that I command his army to disband and return to their homes with extra pay. Finally, head back to the fortress and tell the captives I have ordered that the prisoners are to be escorted from the fortress and taken to Castilian, where they will await trial to see if they can be loyal, and the army will be disbanded with extra pay for their actions. The stallion smiled and bowed his head once more.
It'll be done as you instructed, my lady.
He appeared away from her, galloped to the harbor, looking for the foul-mouthed animal. Freya made her way back to camp. Freya looked like she could skip back to camp. The war was over. The war was finally over. Those words were running through her mind faster than a falcon going into a dive. She slowed down to a slow walk, but she remembered Thra and wished she had been here to see such a thing. Their family had been fighting to defend the North for many years. Now they were free from Andalusian tyranny. All thanks to a ticked-off dragon and a quickly put-together plan. She shook such thoughts over her head and begged to canter into the camp. She could focus on her cousin's loss when she got back to Castilian. What mattered now was planning on rebuilding a reunited nation.